This episode of the Comic Book Pit is brought to you by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yay!
Not really. But if you'd like to
Oh.
go, but if you'd like to go see them play the Oakland Raiders this Sunday, we know someone who's trying to get rid of 4 tickets.
Oh?
Yeah. 4
Just
tickets.
4?
Just 4. Oh, but not just any 4 tickets, Shawn. These tickets are in section 519, row X. Like X-Men and shit.
X? Like X-Men?
Exactly.
Or extravagant?
No, like X-Men.
Oh.
Yep. So if you would be any interested at all in these tickets, email us at the comicbookpit@gmail.com. We'll get you connected with the fella trying to unload them.
Hot dog!
On with the show.
Yeah, it's true. I guess it's not synonymous like Batman with Bob Kane. Because Bob Kane's... Yeah, now Bill Finger. I wonder if they're going to have like Bob Kane and Bill Finger, or Bob Kane associated with Bill Finger.
In this week's Robin Son of Batman, it was the first book I think I have with that title. And it's Batman created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger. Hey, it's...
Okay, hey,
yeah,
you know what? Let's
there.
See
what we can get here. I would probably put it the other way around, but maybe not. Maybe the with worked. You know, hey, it's better than not being there at all.
I would have probably put and.
And, yeah, I probably would have said and too. But you know, whatever. With.
I guess maybe that's how they got... Maybe that's how they kind of got around it. Like, it doesn't sound like it's a joint effort. It still sounds like Bob Kane.
Oh, I think the history has dictated it was not a joint effort. It was all Bill Finger. And Bob Kane was like, I'll sign my name there, please. Now you draw this. I'm going to go dance with ladies.
Yeah, because he had ghost artists.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. He traced other comic strips when he did draw, or he just had ghost artists and writers do everything else.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing Bob Kane was really, really good at was having an attorney for a father who was business savvy.
Yep.
And at rocking ascots.
Yeah, he did do that.
And you know what? Hey, say
and
what
being
you will.
Kind of like a pissy person too, because was it that one interview with Stan Lee? I think he went in and going in like how Jerry Robinson. Like,
that's gotta be an interesting one.
Oh, you should see it. It was like,
Bob, I get accused of stealing all the time, but you're the master of stealing. My voices are off, but I don't have voices, so I'm just gonna find my own versions of these characters and just roll with that.
Bob sounds more like this. He's like, well, I tell you, Stan.
That's
I know
good.
that's kind of
you
bad.
Do the voices then.
He's like, well, I tell you, Stan. Jerry thinks he created something awesome with Robin, but really all he did was just create some sort of card. I don't know what he's getting at now. Yeah.
Okay. And what would Stan Lee sound like in this conversation?
Yeah, he'd probably sound like I have the voice in my head. I'm trying to think of what he would say.
No pressure, Shawn Atkins. It's only the Comic Book Pit episode number 223. Shawn does voices. You're just gonna play all the rules tonight.
Like, here you go, Excelsior. Let me tell you, Bob. This is what goes on. You got to do this and this and this and wave some hands around and poof. And then you take all the notes around the column page and you put them in the word bubbles. That's what you do. Excelsior.
And then Bob Kane would say what?
What's a word bubble?
There you go. Frost Nixon? Mm-mm. Shawn Atkins one-man show. Lee Kane at the Benedum this Christmas. That's what you need to be.
Atkins one-man show.
Yep.
That's right.
Can't wait for it. One Midwestern cartoonist presents his take on a discussion between two titanic thieves of the comics industry.
Says the guy that was.
Says the guy that stole from the Archies.
Nice. Oh, no, I was going to say from you who was like defending Stan Lee. Of course, it was a debate.
Yes. No one remember. That was the other show. No one listened to it, so I can
Well, maybe
take a
you
totally
should.
new stance here.
I thought it was a very good episode.
Of all the ones we did, it was called the Figure It Out podcast. You can still find it out on the internet. It was probably the best, and of course, it was like our 10th episode or something like that. So.
And we peaked early, and we crashed.
Oh boy, howdy did we! And now we rebounded by taking over the comic book pit, as people probably are resigning themselves to right now. There's no Dang, there's no Duke. You're left
You're
with the
down in
JV
my
team.
basement.
Yeah, they're doing whatever the Dangs and the Dukes do these days.
In the basement in my house.
But it's all good because we got plenty to talk about this week, don't we, Shawn Atkins?
I think so.
I know so. We have comic books. We have TV shows. Where should we begin?
I don't know. I guess probably TV.
TV shows?
I didn't watch The Flash, unfortunately.
Well, you did watch something though. You seem to be quite enthused about it, so let's not damp that flame any longer. Let it burn.
All right. Well, on my lunch break, I finally had a chance to watch the first episode of Ash versus the Evil Dead. And I have to say, it was awesome. Like, first episodes go, this was great. Like, from top to bottom, you catch up with Ash, like, 20, 30 years later. He's in a trailer, of course. And he's still this, like, ho-hum type of human being. He doesn't have, like, riches or anything like that. He's still a jerk. And he still works at, like, a crappy job. And he is great at it. And of course, it's like Ash that's aged older. So he's gray in hair. He has fake teeth. He's definitely out of shape.
So Ash in real time.
Ash in real time. And it's awesome.
And the first episode was directed by Raimi, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Did it look cool? Did it look good? I mean, it has to be good.
It
Sam
great.
Raimi. Yeah.
Like, it was great. Everything about the whole episode is just awesome. They set up the whole Deadites thing. They caught up the audience in a pretty cool way. Like they explained the whole mythos of, who Ash is, what's the Evil Dead, the Necronomicon, the whole nine. So if you never heard of the Evil Dead before this television show, what were you doing for the last 30 years?
It's possible. I've seen them. I'm
not. You know what? I actually ran into a friend at work, and I was gonna like squeal like a little girl and be like, "Oh my God, did you see Ash versus Evil Dead?" And he's like, "What's Evil Dead?" And I'm like, you need to watch those movies. You need to go watch those movies. You come back, I will tell you about the TV show.
Say, friend, have you heard the good word?
Yeah. But basically, it catches up with Ash like 30 years later. And like I say, he lives in a trailer. And you find out how, like, the Evil Dead comes back. And it's like, it fits perfectly of who Ash is, who is just a dumbass through and through. Like, he's a good guy, and you always want to root for him, but in the end, he's an asshole. Pardon my language.
It's fine.
So the Evil Dead get called back when Ash and mysterious lady, like I guess a fling or a one night stand, get high. Like they're smoking pot in his trailer, and she has like some sort of French poem tattooed on her wrist, and he's like, "You want to see something awesome?" And he pulls out the Necronomicon and finds a page and starts reading the translation. And that's how the Evil Dead come back.
Hilarious.
And I was just like, of course, that's how it would. Of course, it would come back by him reading it when
While
he's
high.
Yeah.
Trying to impress a lady.
The cool thing is they introduce it like I remember reading before the premiere that they're going to kind of treat Ash like he had like PTSD.
Okay.
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Thank you.
And I was like, okay, I don't know how that will work, but we'll see. And they did.
Bit of a downer in what was otherwise a fun franchise,
No,
but okay.
It was, no, I mean, come on. The man traveled through time and back and faced Evil Dead.
He did.
You got to be a little bit scarred. You can't just like go back to S-Mart and just work your 9 to 5 and not think anything of it. But anyways, but they kind of treated that pretty well, and I like that. Like he was starting to see it like in the quieter moments. And I liked how they did that, and they also brought in like a couple other characters in.
That's what I wanted to ask. Is this like an Ash? Is this Ash's story, or is this like a torch passing type deal?
So far, it seems like this is Ash's story.
Okay.
Like it's Ash kind of living up to his destiny again. Like he was running away from the Evil Dead. He was kind of like hiding out. I mean, he still kind of had a crappy job, but he didn't work at S-Mart anymore. He works at this place. He did work at the place called Value Stop. And it was kind of like him saying, okay, the Evil Dead is here. I got to be, the hero. So, and I like that. That was actually kind of cool.
It's funny. I was going to ask if this was if this show was in lieu of the proposed Evil Dead remake. Only come to find out, the Evil Dead remake came out 2 years ago.
I think
it was a reboot.
I think it was like a hodgepodge. It was like what I was told. Like I didn't watch the actual the remake / reboot. But funny enough, before I watched this, hold on.
Okay.
That's better. That
Okay.
just cleared my throat. Funny enough, before I watched it, we had like a kids' Halloween party at my house, and I ran into like a friend, and he was telling me about like how the Evil Dead, the newer Evil Dead, was like a reboot retelling, but it was also kind of like a sequel.
I see
like,
that. I'm looking
like
at
they acknowledged that Ash and the gang went to this cabin like some odd years ago and, told that tale. I don't know how far they went. I kind of doubt they went in like, oh, and this guy Ash went back in time and blah, blah, blah. Maybe they did.
Per the Wikipedia page, Bruce Campbell does show up in a uncredited post-credit cameo.
Cool. I might have to watch it just to see what he does.
And Wikipedia classifies it as a reboot as well as a loose continuation of the series, which sounds like having your cake and eating it too, but whatever. So here's what I know. Here I thought the show was in exchange for that. That happened. I didn't realize that they made it.
I think this is more like what they had plans for. Like there was always talks about doing an Evil Dead 4 or like Army of Darkness 2 or whatever you want to call it.
It's like comic books with this convoluted numbering.
Yeah, because it was like Evil Dead and then Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness. And then I heard like they were going to either make, I think it was like called Evil Dead 4.
That'd be funny. They called it Army of Darkness 4.
Or Army of Darkness 2.
Yeah. Leonard Part 6.
Yeah. And I think this was
their ideas for that movie, and they just were able to like add more stuff, and then years pass on, so maybe they had like a new angle on it because it was like, okay, well, Ash is 20, 30 years older now, and out of shape, and you can add those type of layers to it. And to tell you the truth, it got me pumped for the second episode. Unfortunately, I don't have stars.
So this pilot was like free online,
Yeah, it
but
was like legitly legally free. Like you could go to stars.com or stars, whatever the channel, their website is, and watch it there.
subsequent episodes are stars only.
I don't know. I just assume that's the case. I kind of doubt that they're gonna release it free every week on their internet
Right.
site. That would be nice, but I'm actually kind of crossing my fingers that they go to Netflix. Like I'm really
I'm sure
crossing
they
my.
will eventually.
Well, I'm hoping only because I when I found out that they were going to Stars, I think that day I was going through Netflix and I was like, I wonder what kind of shows are on Netflix and see if like maybe they had any Stars programming, and they had Spartacus, which I know was on Stars, and I think like Blood of Spartacus or
Right.
whatever the
Right. Yeah.
secret
Blood
TV
and
show was.
sandals or something like that.
Yeah. And as well as Evil Dead has been on Netflix a couple of times. I think like Evil Dead 2, maybe 1. No, just 2.
Just two.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And so I was like, okay, well that's promising. So hopefully I can
I'm sure,
watch it
man.
on
They'd be
Netflix.
silly not to, because like 3 people have stars. 3 trillion people have Netflix. So if you want eyes on it, put it on Netflix. I mean, I get
Yeah.
stars might have a little more bank. I forget who their corporate parents are, but they come from better stock, I think, than Netflix does for right now. Right now.
Yeah.
Um, Unrelated, going off script. Did you see the newest Jessica Jones trailer?
How how new?
The most recent one that actually showed like plot and like an actual trailer, not just like teaser crap, but actual. This is what it is. Here's scenes from the show, and
Oh no, I think I saw it on Facebook, but I just kind of scrolled right past it, and I meant to watch it, and I just never did.
I'll watch it.
I mean, I'm already sold on it. Like
I don't know.
they're
A
going to
buddy of
do the
mine,
Purple Man, and
yeah, he's not purple, but I get it. You can't have everything in this world. Um,
yeah.
there's a lot of
Although
purple overtones.
it would be kind of nice for Marvel to kind of own up. Like I kind of wish they would take a little bit of a page out of the Flash and
Thank you
Arrow.
for that amazing segue, because we'll just kick right to it. You're right, because DC television owns their dopiness in a big bad way with amazing
Yeah, like
results.
come on,
They could
like
do it. If he was
or at least
purple
with
and you're just like,
Flash.
what? He's purple. Deal with it. You don't
Yeah,
question the guy
like
with the hammer. You don't question Goofy Toting
question a
Sun.
guy that decides to throw a shield at people.
Yeah. You gonna question
Come on,
the 10th
he
Doctor
has
because he's
wings on
purple
his
now?
helmet. Yeah, dude,
Own it.
make him purple. I
Like
mean,
The Flash did King Shark last week for like a hot
I
second. I guess King
I
Shark
did
costs a
see
lot of
that.
money, so you can only do a little bit of King Shark. With that said, King Shark was on network TV. Oh, no, no. He was on primetime television. And there's like, oh, whatever. Here's King Shark. You didn't see it this past week?
I did not see it this past
Okay.
week. I think we just completely forgot.
I can discuss it.
All
I
of a
mean,
sudden it was
I'll
Tuesday, and
discuss things that you know just by virtue of watching the previous episode and existing. One thing I thought was really cool, and I think you really, really dig, is we saw just a little bit more of life on Earth 2. And Earth
okay.
2, I think what you'll like is Earth 2 has this sort of like retro future feel going with it. Like there's a lot
Uh,
of like 1940s type technology, like the dress and the look of the architecture and like the cameraman with their old timey cameras. But in the same tip, we meet and you saw him in the last week's episode, so this is not a spoiler. We meet Harrison Wells of Earth 2. We see Harrison Wells on.
I think they.
Yeah,
I don't know if I saw the episode with Harrison Wells, but they definitely did the preview like Harrison Wells is back, and he's like,
it's Earth
Flash, I'm gonna help you, or something like that.
Let's say so we see Harrison Wells in Earth 2, and he's like introducing his new metahuman app, and it's like he's got like a little like smart watch that can detect metahumans and stuff, and I just loved how it's like modern technology crossed with like an old timey vibe. I was like, this is rad, like, and it makes it sort of like honors those golden age heroes, the time they were created in, and as well as sort of makes it make sense now. So like when it's all old timey and like 40s looking, and then he's like debuting his new apps and like a cell phone and a smart watch and stuff. Like this is cool, and I thought that's something that would tickle your fancy in a big bad way. But yes, as has been alluded to, Harrison Wells of Earth 2 has come to Earth 1 to seek the aid and assist the Flash. And so now the acting this week was supreme. Like the chemistry is just off the chart. Like this cast has chemistry. We all know that, no secret. But man, it is just on full display this week. Like there's
more than Joe having that heart to heart with his daughter, because that was a pretty intense scene, and the guy teared up. I was like, holy crap, man, teared up. Holy smokes!
They didn't plumb pathos.
Okay.
But you saw just the fun chemistry was on display this week. There's a nice little quiet subplot that gets a lot of screen time. And it's like there's like, all right, dopey supervillains sort of get put on the back burner for character developing subplot action. And just put it right out on Front Street, which was just hilarious and fantastic. And I loved how they could just take it and like, all right, fine, cool, we'll just slow it down and have this moment that develops character relationships and lets the cast intermingle with each other and just plays on their chemistry, and not just being villain of the week. Look at this wacky Earth 2 villain that's crossed over. Bold move, brave move. I don't mean to be puns there, but I just realized I did.
Brave and bold.
Yeah. But no, really. Like I said, this show, I bow down at its altar. It seems like every week, nothing's changing there. My favorite show on television right now, hands down. The stuff with these folks acclimating to dealing with Harrison Wells again, and this Harrison Wells is not the same Harrison Wells. Which there's some good jokes there. It's like, well, that Harrison Wells really wasn't Harrison Wells either. That was Eobard Thawne. And it just plays up all the ridiculousness, like so earnestly, but also acknowledges it at the same time. I mean, you know how the show is. This balances all this so deftly. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's cool to have Tom Cavanaugh back. He's playing Harrison Wells again, but it's a different Harrison Wells, so he's got a different take on this character. And so this new character, like, getting integrated with the cast and having to deal with all that history was just some mighty fine performances this week. Excellent as usual. And then they posted photos. Zoom shows up like for real next week, and they posted some photos online that show Zoom. Very cool. I don't really get into the speculative spoilers or like think ahead, but one thing that we've sort of learned even more so as we've seen, the Atom Smasher had a doppelganger, Harrison Wells has a doppelganger. I wonder if like anyone else in the cast has a namely Barry. Is there a Barry Allen on Earth too?
Yes, he's probably a janitor.
Yeah, is he or?
I think what though. I think
could he be Zoom? Is what I'm out. Is he Zoom? Is Zoom?
That would be cool. Like if
or is that Zoom. Too on the nose? Like I don't know. Like it could be cool. It could just be like easy. I don't know what the answer is.
I think one of the doppelgangers is though. I think it's going to be what was it, Caitlin Snow?
Oh yeah. Well, we all know what happens to her character. Like we know.
Yeah, I have a feeling that is how it's going to be. Like that she's not going to turn evil. I think it's going to be her doppelganger that's going to cross over.
There's going to be a line that they put in there that just like is foreshadowing. It's just right on Front Street, foreshadowing. She has a line. It's like everyone knows what's going to happen, so she says a line. You're like, oh, like that's for the viewers. But yeah, watch it this week. You won't be disappointed, and you'll be like, oh. So maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All right, so I really don't like to think ahead and try and guess what they're doing. I prefer just going for the ride with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. It's great. I wish the comic book was as good as the TV show. The comic
You stopped reading a comic a long time ago.
No, I still get it, but I don't. In this particular most recent issue had fill-ins, and it was some rough looking artwork. And it's like, man, I just paid $4 for amateur hour here, and and then bad artwork just highlights the weak writing, and it's like, do I really want to keep doing this one felt like homework, and I ain't got no time for that.
Got no time for homework.
Yeah, ain't no time for homework. Not when it comes to the funny books. Funny books shouldn't be homework.
I wonder $4.
No. Which, speaking of funny books that weren't homework, I got two here. I got 2 DC books that I can discuss.
What a coinkydink. So do I.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was looking at that, like I was looking at my pull list from the last 2 weeks. 5 DC books, 1 Image. No House of Ideas represented in any of this.
Yeah, you're talking to the guy that constantly reads stuff from like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So any book that's from the last 10 years is a good thing.
Let's see, which one do I want to start with? I read Prez. Prez number 5 is a quick hit. We get more into she's president now. You see more interactions with her and like captains of industry. And then we also get a cooler introduction subplot from this like robot war sentinel that seems to have gained sentience. Sentience or sentience? Sentience. That. And we're at issue 5. I thought this was like 6 issues. But maybe it's going to keep going because they're sort of building things up. That looks like it could keep rolling. I don't see how this could just end next issue. I certainly don't want it to. But now, again, Prez is probably the best.
Maybe it's
reading.
the new CW show, and they don't want to end it quite yet.
Oh, my God, Shawn Atkins. If Prez was the next like CW show, I don't know what I would do.
What, like iZombie is?
I haven't stuck with that one.
I haven't even bothered to watch it. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. Like, I don't know. I guess when it comes to, if it's not The Flash, I mean, I guess I kind of stay away from crime drama.
I put Arrow on. Arrow was on TV last night here in this household. I was in the other room, like half glancing up at it. I want to get into it, but I just can't. But meanwhile, Flash is like almost can't miss television for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like Steph loves the Arrow, and I try to watch it, and I don't know. Some reason I just can't. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
I don't either. I'm just gonna trying. Like they had Constantine on last night. Is why I watched. All right. And Constantine, I guess looks like he'll be back next week too. But I want to get into it, but it just doesn't grab me like the Flash did.
See, I might have to watch that episode though, just to see that, because I did like that that pilot of Constantine, and I meant to actually watch more of the episodes when they were on, but I just didn't.
Yep, you and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say in Prez, I know we had been discussing this. I was discussing with like Dan during previous issues. There's like this playful teasing to how it fits within the DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time where they were mentioning like Wayne Enterprises, and then we met the man that ran Wayne Enterprises, and it was nowhere near Batman. there's a scene in this book where the Prez is on TV, and they're showing the little scroll at the bottom, and there seems to be allusions to Jimmy Olsen, to Burnside, which made me laugh because his Burnside degentrifies. And then there seems to be a reference to Princess Diana. So who knows? They're playing it coy. I don't think anybody in a cape is going to show up in this book, and it would just destroy the tone of it if all of a sudden like Green Lantern showed up. Like it's doing just fine, like existing like in a post superhero DC universe.
Cool. Well, that sounds good.
Mean, assuming they even existed at all, who knows? It doesn't. It's playing fast and loose with that. There's coy references that may or may not be them. And quite frankly, like I said, if they were to show up, it would just take the air out of it.
Like here's all of a sudden here's Justice League, and you're like, oh,
yeah. It's like this doesn't fit. But if they were to come in and like, yeah, they once was, and now they're gone. That I actually would enjoy. If there had to be any sort of like direct, we're answering this question, I would go the route of there once was, now there's not. The end.
Oh.
I like that one.
Yeah.
And then in the next up from the DC Comics, from the Vertigo line, was this new wave of Vertigo books. Like last week I mentioned that Hernandez Darwin Cook book. And the next wave of this new line of Vertigo books was Art Ops, with art by Mike Allred. So you knew I was buying it. It could have been the phone book. If it was drawn by Mike Allred, I'm buying it. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure who the writer is. Let me look through the credits here. It was cool. The basic premise is there's like this secret like society of operatives that police the world of art. Shawn Simon is the writer. Because like art, like paintings and art is real.
I was gonna say like just these police people just like busting your door and be like, "That's a tangent. You need to get rid of that now. It's a fine for $500.
That book would
fix your tangents."
If there was that book, it would have to be called Gatekeepers. Like the scene opens up with this like team going into the Louvre, and they extract the Mona Lisa out of the painting, and she's like a real person. And like they use this like wacky looking like technology. It's almost like a dimensional type deal, if you will. Mm-hmm. Yank her out, and then she's like real, and then they like put a someone else in disguised as the Mona Lisa, because it looks like people are like stealing artwork. And then we meet this one dude, and his mom's one of the art ops, and he's got a bad relationship with her, and he goes to buy drugs, and then like he's attacked by graffiti. And it's quite violent. It gets his arm ripped off. Like splash page of just this monster ripping off this dude's arm. And it's no holding back. And then that's when the art ops team shows up, and they replace his arm, and it just looks like a Jackson Pollock painting. It's just like squiggly lines of paint. It's like a super powered arm, and it's fascinating. It's high concept, really fascinating. There's a little mystery that leaves at the end. I mean, it's kind of that typical storyline, the fact, oh, we have our protagonist, and he's got a strained relationship with this other character, and then conflict enters, and as a result, protagonist is drawn into a road that he's been resisting, and will ultimately have to reconcile a relationship that is strained. I mean, that you can see that coming a mile away, but you know, when you're going on a road trip, you know that the streets are going to be paved in asphalt. You can't complain there either. So I'll stick with it because it's all red. It looks fun. Looks interesting.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, what else is out there to read? Honestly, am I going to read the all new, all different, all the same, astounding X-Vengers?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, like, there is no Fantastic Four in that lineup whatsoever.
No.
That just seems odd to me.
Ben Grimm's a Guardian of the Galaxy, and the Human Torch is an
Inhuman.
Uncanny Inhuman.
Huh.
Yeah.
What is the world coming to?
First Family. Well, yes.
Yeah.
But you read something too, right?
I did. Actually, we're going to go back to DC.
We never left.
First Family, nah, not quite. Although I do have like this one not a comic project, but it's more of like I'm bored at work project. I'm making a uh, brochure for Fantastic Four Industries,
Oh
just
yeah.
for just for giggles.
What did they call their? Did they have a company?
Yeah, I think it's called like Four Inc. or something, but I decided to take out that part and just call it like Fantastic Industries.
Okay.
I think it's like Fantastic Industries Inc. I think I have. And then
You know, if they were Spanish, you could call it Fantastico, and then it would work
I
on both levels.
that would be pretty cool. And so I'm just making it like 8 pages, and then I'll probably put it together and staple it, but it'll probably just be a novelty item at my house or something. So
Yeah, put it on your display at your tables. When you
yes,
exhibit.
because they'll all fawn over that just like they did Mother Box.
Exactly.
Like, what's Mother Box? I'm like, shut up, kid. Anyways,
I guess it
back
is.
to the
I guess
book.
Mother Box is a deep cut. They haven't gotten to that on a CW show yet, so
I wish they would. I'm sorry. Fourth World just seems prime for a movie.
I'd say
Like,
give it
it's
some
just,
time. I don't move. Screw movie. Give me a TV show.
I don't
Movies.
know. Like, I
I mean,
can see it like a Star Wars type of level, you know?
it's gonna be dark though, because the movies seem to be dark. And I mean, I am a fan of Man of Steel, but Fourth World
Yeah.
deserves CW melodrama treatment. That Greg Berlanti
Yeah.
developed the Fourth World.
Yeah, those guys do pretty good. And they'd probably do it right.
Although
So,
I admit, speaking of Greg, I did. Did you watch Supergirl this past
I
week?
haven't yet. I've been hearing still more good things about it. And I
Completely
still like,
forgot it was a thing. Monday came and went. It was weird. Like Monday night, I'm sitting here like, man, what is something? Feel like I'm not doing something. And then like yesterday, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't watch Supergirl. Oops. So I did. I was like, I just went on
so
that
did you
show.
watch it though?
No, I haven't watched it. I was like, I went on that
Oh,
program, this program, and I was like, I'll stick with it. And then I was like, forgot it even existed.
nice. I I forgot about it too. I mean, I saw it and I kind of want to get into it. For some reason this week I just haven't watched any of the normal television shows. Like I still have to catch up on Doctor Who.
Oh, that was a fun one. That was real fun because it tied into the 50th. It brought back the Zygons. And that whole, remember in the 50th anniversary episode, the Zygons invaded, and then the doctors like forced them to come to a peace agreement.
Hmm.
And so it's kind of like the aftermath of that.
Huh. All right. Yeah, they did seem kind of like in and out on that 50th anniversary.
Yeah, that Zygon plot line was left dangling after the 50th, or they address it in this episode.
Okay.
So
Cool. All right. Well, back to focus.
yes.
I read some DC books too. And actually I Batmaned up. Like I guess I loaded up on Batman this week. Sort of, kind of. I actually meant to talk about the other book. Well, I'll just focus. The first book I read was Batman Adventures. It was probably number one. I don't remember what the number was. It was actually a Halloween special free book that I imagine you can get like at comic shops, but I got mine on Comixology for free. And it was an old comic series from the 90s based on the animated series, like their continuity and their design. And I have to say, it was pretty fun. To me, it was, I don't know, like it didn't really live up to the animated series level, I felt. But generally, it was a pretty fun issue. I can't really go wrong with it either. It involved the Penguin um, committing a bunch of heists, but he was doing it in a way that wasn't his method. which also he got the idea from Joker, or at least Joker gave him the idea. He was like, here's your plan. This is what you should do. And apparently Penguin thought it was a great idea to rob. It's like the simplest thing you would think of. So he robs these rich people, like their banks, by just doing not Penguin-ish type things. So he would cut off, like, the circuits to the security cameras and make sure that security guards didn't see him and just take the money. And then he would make all these contributions to, like, the arts and sciences, and he would kind of like leveled up society-wise until Batman figured it out and he foiled him.
As Batman does.
Yes. And it left on a cliffhanger because we don't know what Joker wanted out of the whole thing until like the very last panel where he's holding some roll of paper, which I don't know, could be anything. It said to be continued or the end question mark. Yeah, it's a really big joint. So
the Penguin burns deep.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll try to track it down to see what happens. The art was meh. Like I have a lot of respect. I think it's by Rick Burchat.
Kelly Puckett and Ty Templeton.
Thank you. Like I have a lot of respect for those guys, obviously, because I totally remember their names.
Yeah.
And but I don't know. Like I kind of feel like when comic books adapt animated stuff, I always feel like they always have to make it lighter, like color wise and.
Are you talking like the actual tones of the color are lighter, or the tones of the story is lighter in tone?
No, the story seems like it would definitely fit into the animated series, kinda. I just meant like lighter in art, like everything is like it seemed like the animated series they had a lot more shadows.
I see
and they
what you mean.
played with shadows and they played with a lot of things.
The
like
color is
film
very
noir.
flat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
As well
some
as
shading, but again, this was also early '90s, so that stuff hadn't. But I see what you mean. It is rather relatively flat coloring.
but it's like in this one it just seemed like they didn't seem like they played with shadows like they would have in the animated series, or it was a lot of full bodies and just it was
I see what you
good.
mean. Yeah, there's
It
some
was
spots where
passable.
it's like flats only, and then when they want to use shadowing for effect, they'll bust it out.
Yeah.
I'll be honest,
So
not for nothing, and totally unrelated to what this program's about. I'm actually kind of digging it because I'm not a fan of doing coloring on the computer. So like just spilling paint and leaving flats. I'm like, I'm lazy. Screw it. It looks good. Good enough.
actually I don't mind just having flat colors. I've actually thought about just going straight to that. Because I've seen some really good colors, and it's just mostly just solid color, just flat
Like
colors.
anything, I guess it's all in how it's used, whether it be stuff you make your own or stuff that's produced by, a corporation.
Yeah.
But there is some interesting use of color choices in here. But I do see where your gripes coming from.
It just doesn't seem like.
The show was definitely much more textured.
Yeah.
And that was animated. This is just a comic book. Just so it was like could almost be a coloring book, except that someone just spilled paint
Exactly.
onto
Like, I kind of wish they remembered how to do comics
it.
more. Like, instead of trying to adapt it as the animated feel, like, I wish they would have did more, like, made it look more like the comic.
Well,
Than,
you could strike that balance stronger because I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Paul Tim, is it Paul Bruce Tim? I mean, I
Bruce
confused with
Timm.
you. I created a hybrid of the two creators. That Bruce Timm style without dumbing it down like it is for this. Well, that's the
Yeah,
joke
like
over
a
that
Darwin
scroll thing.
Cook,
I think you said that.
like
Yeah, yeah.
Darwin Cook and Bruce
Well, not
Timm,
even then. You don't.
they did it
Yeah,
good.
yeah. There's a Tumblr page that's just devoted to those two. It's like Cook Tim or something like that.
Yeah, I totally follow them
Yeah, me
or
too.
follow it, and I just love it.
Darwin Cook and Bruce cooktim.tumblr.com.
Yeah, I devour it. I'm just like, wow, give me more.
Yeah, treat your eyes to some goodness.
It's like those two know how to do comics.
Yeah, they
they
can.
they know how to tell a story. It shows.
It's amazing how they can. Pretty much, it's because especially the Bruce Timm stuff. Any character he can put in his style, like anybody. Like we talk about, like Mike Allred drawing the phone book. Screw that. Let Bruce Timm draw the phone book.
If he
A
did
Bruce
more
Timm phone
comics,
book? Yeah, I know. I mean, I understand why not. It's a bigger payday and doing animation, and he does it really well. So why not? But yeah, his he's a talented individual.
agreed.
So.
So,
He's doing a Dark Knight 3 variant cover. Did you see that? It's on that Tumblr page.
what?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like his Batman Dark Knightified. I don't know. Did I send?
now I have to look.
Well, maybe you should look after this. Are we done here? Can we let these people go back to their lives?
No,
Not yet.
not until I see this cover.
You're in our world now, suckers. And they're like, no, we're not. Click. Um, any announcements?
Oh,
Anything to? You're insistent on finding this, aren't you?
I found it.
Okay. Looks
Looks
cool.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I have one more comic, and I'll
Oh,
probably make it quick so we can
yeah.
put a button in it.
We're about to
And
turn into a pumpkin.
uh, so like I said, I loaded up on Batman and Batman type stuff. I actually read this a couple weeks back, and I meant to go on CBP and tell about it, but I
Wow.
think it might have been
Spoiler alert,
during
Sean
the.
Atkins. You're on CBP.
Well, I meant to say about it earlier, but I think it was probably during Wizard World and all that other stuff, and
Oh,
I forgot
a
and
while ago.
probably talked about Doctor Strange or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, I actually earlier, even earlier in the comic book pit, I talked about Batgirl's the new Batgirl creative team, Babstar, Cameron Stewart,
Right.
their first issue, and I think I had like Luke feeling about it, like I definitely would
I recall.
read more.
You enjoyed it, but you didn't feel that it was for you. So you sort of felt like the old man at the kids' party.
Yeah.
My words,
Well,
not yours.
I saw on Comixology. Comixology is like my crack a little bit. It's like it's just like my crack. Like I'll just see a blip saying, oh, 60% off all Batman books or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So anyways, I saw that type of sale and Batgirl issues were like 99 cents. And I was like, all right. So I finished the first arc of Batar's and Cameron Stewart's story arc, which unfortunately I don't remember the title.
Did it have one?
I think it did. It might have, maybe not, because it kind of went from title to title to title. Like it might have. I imagine the trade will probably have it.
The Batgirl of Burnside?
Probably.
That,
We'll
that's
say
the
that.
that's what the Volume 1 trade is called per DC
Okay.
Comics.
So we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I like that. And
The alliterative.
I I think I liked it, and I'm definitely going to get more of it if it's still at the same cheaper price.
Yeah.
I definitely still feel like that old man at a kid's birthday party, or because it's like they'll mention stuff, but I think as it went on, I kind of didn't feel like I felt more in the world, like I knew where they were coming from, and all this other stuff. And I kind of actually forgot that Barbara was more of a tech head. Like I never put two and two together. I mean, I did, but I guess I just forgot that she knows her way around computers.
Right. She's savvy. I've only read one issue of the run. There was an issue a couple months ago where when Jim Gordon was Bat Chappie, it was like that first issue and sort of like where Gordon was telling Barbara that he was the new Batman. I read that one and was one and done on it. I too understood what everyone was coming from, like of our demographic. Like, looks pretty, reads good, but I feel like I'm intruding.
Yeah. Like I don't want them to have like rotary phones or anything like that, but
No. I mean,
it definitely felt like okay, this is
I'm
definitely
not
written for
catching. Yeah,
younger people,
yeah,
but
exactly. I'm
I
not who they're shooting for with this book.
but then again, I kind of didn't feel like I had to run away from it because it was
No,
actually pretty fun, and I liked Barbara's
right,
character.
and as
I like
again,
how she's a bit of a mess up a little bit, and there was a lot of good beats. I think there was
yeah,
like if I can remember the one episode, uh, I think she faces off with like these Asian motorcycle ladies. I think they're called like the kamikazes or something like that. I for I kind of forgot, but it was just a good story. I liked it. Like it kind of culminates like I guess someone's going after Batgirl's persona, and so every story or every issue kind of was like going after her. There was like a bounty on her head or something like that. So, but like I said, I'm just going to go with like the overall feel. I generally liked it. I probably will pick it up more, or maybe I'll just wait till it goes in trades and
I
rent
was
it
gonna,
from the library.
I was gonna ask in this uh collection, whatever you binged on, was there the one-off issue from? There was like it wasn't within the actual Batgirl series, but it was like a one-shot that tied into like the Joker Endgame storyline.
No, it
No, oh, that
stopped with that.
because that
It's
was like a
had, I
silent
think,
issue. That was drawn by someone else. Like I'm probably gonna mispronounce the name. I believe it's a French cartoonist named. It looks like Bengal, but I don't know if it's pronounced like Bengal or Benigal or what have you. But that one I was like, holy crap, this is a really cool looking book. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure I butchered the name on that. Uh,
I
French.
think I stopped, I think it was like 35 to 39
Yeah, and
or
this was one. This wasn't even one of the actual issues. This was separate from the numbering. It was like a silent issue. It was so good. Um, Hell of a cartoonist. And then for a hot second there, had like all those issues like in my hand. I'm like, this is a lot of money to spend, take a chance on a book, but they're all right here. And then I was like, I have bills to pay. But so I let it go. But yeah, it does look cool.
it was good,
It's
like
something
art
I would
wise.
like to get into, but there's only so much money to go around and so much time to read them. It's
I'd probably, if I was you, I'd probably just go to your neighborhood library and just read it there.
that's
I probably
that's the
will,
ticket to bust out an antiquated catchphrase.
but I definitely, I,
That's
I
why
lost
this
my train
book's
of
not even
thought.
for us. We get that reference.
Well, anyway, the art was definitely solid. I loved Babstar. I like her artwork. Her artwork got better and better and better. And yeah, that's why I'll probably stick around. So
Cool.
yeah,
I think we can wind it down this week, can we not?
yeah. I think we talked about a lot of stuff.
It was hearty. It was a
Mm.
hearty episode of Comic Book Pit. You gonna be anywhere where the people can come see your doodles and buy your works or engage with you in some sort of fashion?
work between 8 and 5 Monday to
Can
Friday.
people do that? Can we just show up to your place of employment?
No, you can't show up to my place of employment. I mean, I guess you could. But I'd rather you
Specifically for the
not.
role of like, I was listening to this podcast and the guy said I could come here and like hang out with him. I'm here for that. And people are like, again?
And I will tell you, go
He's in
home.
the back. Let's go.
I will probably tell you to go home. I have work to do and bills to pay.
And then stop lying. No, me neither. I'm not. I think picks is the next thing.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, if people want to find me on Facebook, I'll talk.
The picks train has left the station.
Yeah.
April
April 2nd, people.
Yeah, it's coming. Exhibitors are rolling in. Spotlights are being posted on the interwebs. And again, I go first because yeah. At any rate, we'll just end it here. We're rambling. This has been the Comic Book Pit, episode number 223. I'm Jared.
And I'm Shawn, master of something arts, something, mystic dark arts, something.
Master of set photos. We'll talk about it next time. A bunch of like Benedict Cumberbatch set photos just came out like in the past 2 days. It's crazy.
I meant to check that out, and I was like, oh, they're probably just going to have them in a scarf.
No. Anyway, that's what Netflix is for.
Good stuff.
Music's playing. Yeah.
Okay.